Today, I want to talk to all of you out there who might be suffering from arthritis. And that means you have inflammation in your joints and you're finding it painful to move your joints and difficult to move. You might have difficulty with mobility. You might have difficulty lifting things. And if you have certain kinds of arthritis, you might even find some deformity in some of your joints. And so today, I want to talk about what's happening in your body and then why what your doctor is recommending might not be working for you. And then I want to give you 2 things that you can do to help restore health in your body and actually eliminate that arthritis from your body. All right, sound good? So my name's Julia Carr. I'm with Holistic Health Solutions. And first, let me just try to tell you what's happening in your body when you have arthritis or inflammation in your joints. So just imagine that this is your joint. And when it's healthy, it moves and it flows, and you don't have any difficulty moving around and doing what you need to do. And this is any part of your body that has movement. It might be your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knee, your hips, your spine. Anything in your body has joints that help you move. And when it's healthy, it moves great. There's this membrane around inside your joints that excretes lubrication, and that's what helps it move without any kind of difficulty. And what happens is when your body gets toxins in it, and there gets to be a bit of a buildup of toxins in your body, the body will sometimes, if it can't eliminate it fast enough, it will start depositing toxins into your joints. It's just sort of a place that it stuffs it in an effort to protect your organs. So the body puts these toxins in your joints, and then your body, when it's trying to heal itself, sends inflammation there, which is actually part of the healing process. But those of us that have experienced inflammation know that it causes swelling. So imagine this is the inflammation. So the body goes, oh no, this joint is in trouble. I'm gonna send some extra resources there and protect it, and it's gonna get swollen, and normally it would heal. But what happens is the toxins keep getting sent in there. And as long as the toxins are getting sent in there, the inflammation's not going to go away because healing still needs to happen. Instead, it just grows and it spreads. And then you go from having a sore wrist to also having a sore elbow. And you find inflammation all over your body. And this is why, because the inflammation will just keep spreading. And it gets more and more uncomfortable and more painful. And as long as the toxins keep getting put in there, the body's going to respond with inflammation. But inflammation's not really the bad guy, and your body is not the bad guy. So I'm going to tell you how those toxins get in there. But first, let me tell you what usually happens. All right, so we find that we have difficulty, swelling, uncomfortable joints. We go to the doctor. And the doctor usually starts by telling us to get some over-the-counter medication so that we feel better. Tylenol, ibuprofen, or maybe you took those on your own. All right, you took them on your own, and it does help because what it does is shrink the inflammation down, and so you don't have quite as much pain. But the toxins keep getting in there, and so the inflammation keeps growing and it keeps coming back. And as long as you take those medications, it subsides so that the symptoms aren't so bad, but it doesn't go away. There's nothing healing. So it just keeps building and spreading, and you have to take more and more medication, and pretty soon it doesn't work at all. So then you go back to your doctor and you say, I need something else. And so often the next step is cortisone shot. And a cortisone shot can help alleviate pain. It helps longer for some people than others. But the problem with it is that it has its own side effects. And when you continue that, like if that's your life plan in order to get your life back, then you're going to have more problems from that. I remember reading in one book about natural healing about a case of a woman who told the doctor that she'd been taking the cortisone shots for quite a few years, and then she accidentally bumped her hand on the arm of a chair and it broke. And the lady's like, why would my arm break just from a tiny little bump? And the doctor said, well, that's what happens when you've been taking cortisone shots or steroid shots for a while. It weakens your bones. So weakening your bones and weakening your joints is not going to help you in the long run. So it might help with pain in the moment, but it's actually going to hurt in the long run. And with arthritis, eventually, the inside of the joints erode, all of that, the cartilage erodes, and that's when you have what they call bone on bone, because that lubricant is completely dried up, the cartilage starts eroding, and then the bones just are right next to each other and there's nothing protecting them. And that's when eventually the bones fuse and you can't move at all. So we need to catch this while you're still in the inflammation stage, because the body is still able to heal. Once it gets to the point where all of that's gone, then you have to have supernatural healing instead of healing, which I also believe in, but today we're talking about natural healing. So you go to the doctor, you try your cortisone shots, and either they don't work or you don't want those nasty side effects. So what can you do? Well, there's two things that you can do to restore your health naturally. First, stop putting in the toxins that's causing the inflammation in the first place. Well, what are those toxins? We're not really told about that, right? It's not your fault that you keep putting toxins in your body because you don't know any better. Plus, some of it you can't even control. Like, we can't control what's happening with pollution around us or our environment. We have no control over that. The most that we do have control over is our lifestyle. And the truth is that most of the toxicity in our body is because of our lifestyle choices. We didn't know any better, but now you can't say that, because now you're going to know better, because I'm going to tell you. And as soon as you do know better and you make some lifestyle changes, you will find that when the toxicity stops getting poured on, then the body will go, oh, okay, we're okay now. We don't have all that toxic buildup anymore. And then the inflammation subsides until it completely leaves. And when that's gone, the lubrication comes back and you actually get the healing back completely in your joints. But it does take a commitment to not pour those toxins in. So there's a couple ways that we get this kind of toxicity in our body. The first is probably most commonly the food that we eat. All right, foods that are highly acidic will cause, when our body becomes more acidic than it is alkaline, then it starts taking nutrients that we need from our bones, mostly calcium. It starts taking it from our teeth and from our bones. And that's why we start getting cavities and we start having problems with our teeth as we get older, and also our bones weaken. It's not necessarily an aging thing. It's just because our bodies are quite adaptable and it lasts a long, long time. And it's been handling it for 50 or 60 years. But once you hit those years, then you start seeing some of the effects because it's been building up all that time. So when it has just a little bit of toxicity, it's okay. But after 50, 60 years of buildup of toxicity, it's just overburdened and it just can't deal with it anymore. So eating foods that are highly processed is going to be a problem. Anything that you buy packaged is really not going to be good for you. The best thing for you to do is to stick with whole foods, stick with natural foods that the earth has provided for us. Vegetables that grow in the soil and fruit that come from our trees, those are your best friends. If you eat those raw, that's especially the best because it's got its own live enzymes so that your enzymes can be used in the healing process instead of the digestive process. So when you are trying to heal, eat as many fruits and vegetables as you can. Have a big salad at least once during the day. And then what you want to avoid is those highly processed foods. And then the other thing most of us don't know about is certain food combinations can cause problems. And let me see if I can explain that. So if we have sugar and starch combination, or a starch and protein combination, then what happens is we have enzymes that are usually released for those things, but they're not when you have that in combination, and it causes toxicity in your body. So one of the most common problem combinations is like a grain and a protein, like bread and peanut butter, or bread and meat. Like, we love our sandwiches, right? When I heard about that, I'm like, ugh, what am I gonna eat? Because I love that stuff, okay? That's what we grew up on. But we can learn to just not combine those things. You might still be able to have your bread. You can probably still have your peanut butter, but don't combine them because it's messing up with the enzymes in your system, and it's causing more acid, and it's causing that imbalance. So the best thing you can do when you're healing and you're not sure what you're supposed to eat together and what you're not is have what we call mono meals. And mono meals is just when you eat one thing at a time, and then give your body a chance to digest that before you eat something else. So you can have your peanut butter, but just have peanut butter. Don't put it on bread. And if you need to combine it with something, combine it with some raw vegetable, fruit or vegetable. If you want to put it on an apple, or if you want to put it on celery, that's probably going to be much better than the grain. And then the other combination is the sugar and the protein, like cereal and milk. Cereal and milk, I mean, they just go together. It's best to avoid cereal actually altogether. There's not a whole lot of good coming out of your cereal, and even milk, any kind of dairy, causes a lot of inflammation in your body. So while you are trying to heal, best to stay away from the dairy. All right, stay away from the dairy, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, and just a little bit of meat. And you're gonna see a big difference in your body. That's the main way that we get toxins in our body, but it's not the only way. Also, we have other lifestyle choices. We all know this isn't the best for us. Drinking too much alcohol, smoking, drinking too much coffee even. Too much of anything is a burden on our body. So watch out for that. Just drink water is your best. But the best way to hydrate is actually eating your water. We call that when you get hydrated from fruit. Fruit has structured water, and that's actually the best for your hydration. You don't need to drink, you know, some people will say like you have to drink a gallon of water a day. If you can do that, it's fine, but it can overburden your kidneys too. So the more hydrating food you eat with all this alkaline food, you're not going to get as thirsty. The more acidic food you're eating, yes, you have to drink a lot of water. But when you're eating a lot of hydrating food, like especially the juicy fruits, you won't need as much water to stay hydrated. And you're not going to overburden your kidneys that way. And then there's things that would help with the toxicity that we don't do. Okay, so there's lifestyle choices that are adding toxins to our body, but then there's things that we could do to lessen that we don't do, like exercise. Exercise, we all know that's good for us. It's hard to find the time, it's hard to find the energy, especially when you don't feel good. So you just have to commit to finding exercise that you can do, that it doesn't have to be hard. In fact, don't push your body too hard. You have to ease into it. It took you a long time to build up this toxicity, 50, 60, 70 years. And so give yourself some time to eliminate it without being too difficult on your body to transition. So easy exercises. You can start with walking, just strolling, just 10 minutes a day, or you can even do sit-down yoga. You've probably seen some of those sit-down exercises. All kinds of programs out there. Find something that gets you moving, because that does help with the toxicity in your body. And same with getting out in the sun and breathing pure air. All of that pure water, all of that really adds energy, nerve energy into your body, and can combat that extra toxic burden for you. So that's the first thing you can do, eliminate toxins in your body. The second thing is a much easier, and this is to get balanced through a body system balancing session. All right, and that's what I do. I am a naturopathic practitioner, and I specialize in what's called the zone technique. The zone technique balances your body systems. The body systems are the glandular system, the eliminative system, the nerve system, the digestive system, the musculoskeletal system, and also the circulatory system. Those 6 systems consist of every cell in your body. And when we get those balanced, then your brain and your spine are in alignment with the messaging. And as your cells replicate, they replicate healthy cells, and it gets you in this auto-healing zone. And when you're in auto-healing, your body is able to process all of these things much, much better. And it only takes a few minutes, and some people get balanced in just one session, but if you've been struggling for a long time, it's probably going to take several sessions in order to get that back in balance and in alignment. So if you would like to schedule a body system balancing session with me, all you have to do is go to my website, holistichealthsolutions.pro, and you can book a session right there, and I would love to be part of your healing process. That's for people who live in Central Maine. If you don't live in Central Maine and you would still like my help, and I would still love to help you, what I can do is do some nutrition coaching. So if you would like some help knowing what are you supposed to eat, what are you not supposed to eat, what I can do is look at what you're eating and help you come up with a realistic plan that puts you in transition so you're not trying to make these huge adjustments that you won't be able to stick to. It has to be something sustainable. It has to be realistic for you. And I can help you figure that out. I can help you map that out so we can get those toxins safely out of your body and you can get back your life. So set up the body system balancing with me if you are in Central Maine, or you can get here, and then set up a nutrition session with me, and let's get your health back.